Hey guys, okay, so we're back here at the scene, and what we actually have, or what I'm going to talk to you about right now, is prefabs. Prefabs is that thing that you saw at the beginning, and it says, hey, if you delete this, you're going to break the prefab, are you sure? And that might be confusing, but for those of you that understand some of the more complicated 3D programs, all you need to do is think of a prefab as an instance. Instances are different than duplicates because duplicates are still separate. Like if I tear myself apart and I make a complete clone of myself, we are going to do and think different things because we are running independently from each other. So right now, if I were to just do a simple duplicate, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a duplicate just so we can tell the difference. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this into a prefab by clicking on the object and dragging it into my assets folder, or faster enough right here where it says like that. Didn't like that. Okay. Anyways, actually let's start over just real quickly. I'm going to take this object here and drag this into the assets folder and make a new prefab or an instance. Think of it either way, they're interchangeable. So this blue box here means that I have a prefab. So if I were to take this and drag this into my scene right now, I now have two copies or instances of Spotlight Canlight and a duplicate of Spotlight Canlight. And here's where the power of the prefab comes in handy. Let's say that, we're going to pretend like I'm going to match out all these light locations here. And what you would need to do is that you would have to just duplicate and move all these along. And again, you can tell the differences between the prefabs, mostly because one, I named one differently. But two, you can see these blue colors here. Again, just like this blue box. These blue names mean that they are prefabs of each other. So if I need to make a change to a room and make everything wider and make the angle shallower and change the color, nothing's really going to happen. That one room's going to be red and it's going to make you really angry unless it's a light room. That's a different story. But if I needed that to happen through the whole scene or through the whole house or the whole room, if I come over here to where it says prefab, because again, these are prefabs, unlike this one, which has no prefab, because again, it's a duplicate, not an instance or a prefab, and I hit apply, it's going to propagate. Oh, wrong thing. If I come back to the one that's changed and I hit apply, it's going to propagate through any light that is a prefab of it. Now the thing is, it won't take hold because again, I can come in here make any change I want, and I can see that this one, it is a prefab because one, there is a blue name. I keep saying one, there's a blue name. Two, it's bold, meaning it's different from the other prefabs. It can stay by itself independently until you hit apply on that one object. So again, if I were to come back here and hit apply, nothing's going to happen to this blue one, but since it's still the same instance or prefab, I hit apply, it can propagate everything else. One other thing that you can do is if you come over here and you want to make a change, and you're like, I don't like that, you can actually come back and hit revert, and that takes you back to the previous version. So be careful, do some planning, think about how you want to lay out your lights. Because if they're all going to be the same, and you need 50 of them like we do in our case, because these can lights, they should be the same, you're buying them from the same place, you're putting the same type of bulb in there, they should give off pretty much the same light. That's going to allow us to make these, or to make as many lights as we want, and to make changes, sweeping changes through the whole scene without causing a whole lot of problems and headache for yourself. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just duplicating a game object or a light versus making a prefab of a light. And so in this case here, since all these lights are pretty much the same, I'm going to opt for planning out how to use prefabs in our scene. So I'll see you guys on the next tutorial where we're going to start laying out all these lights very quickly. Alright, thanks.